From terrifying wolves of legend to a mysterious man-eating crocodile, here's 8 animals that were serial killers. Number 8. Wolf of Swazon. The year is 1765 in the northeast part of Paris, known as the Swazon commune. The peaceful neighbourhood had no idea of the horror that would come to them. Lurking in the shadows, waiting for its chance to attack, was a terrifying beast, now dubbed the Wolf of Swazon. This was a particularly violent wolf, and on the last day of February it finally struck. In the parish of Septmont, it claimed its first victims, an unsuspecting pregnant woman. After finding her mutilated body, locals took the child still trapped in her womb. They rushed to get the baby baptised before it passed away. While they were preoccupied with the unborn child, 300 yards away from the first crime scene, the wolf attacked again. This time, its target was another woman and her son. Luckily, the pair survived, fighting off the wolf side by side. The next day, on March 1st, the wolf pounced on a man near the hamlet of Courcelles. The man survived with serious head wounds. Some of its next victims wouldn't be so lucky. 2 young boys were hit on the road to Paris, then a farmer who lost parts of his face, and a 17-year-old boy who was on the receiving end of a surprise attack and was slain. After these crimes, the Wolf of Swazon escaped to Bazoches, almost decapitating a woman on its way. A young girl witnessed the terrible scene and ran to the nearest village to warn them. 4 men there decided to set up an ambush on the wolf, but when the face-to-face battle finally came, they were overtaken. More villagers came to help, cornering the wolf into a courtyard, where a tamed dog fought it from a chain. Eventually, the chain broke, and the dog chased the wolf into a pasture where it killed many sheep and cattle. Finally, the ordeal ended when a member of the local militia named Antoine Savarel came onto the scene. He managed to take down the wolf with a pitchfork, pinning its head to the ground for over 15 minutes until a peasant came to help finish the kill. Overall, the Wolf of Swazon killed 18 people, and the people of Swazon would remember forever this brutal attack. Number 7. The Maneaters of Sava. In 1898, the British owned much of East Africa and wanted to build a 1,000-mile-long stretch of railway across the land. They outsourced much of the labour to Sikh workers instead of doing the hard work themselves. In the tough African conditions, many of these workers died, with their bodies being left in mass grave sites along the railway. These grave sites made the perfect meal for animals in the area, particularly lions, giving them a taste for human flesh, and they were hungry for more. Over the span of 9 months, the lions repeatedly snuck into the workers' camp at night. They would crawl into the men's tents and drag sleeping workers away to a certain doom. Imagine waking up to that horrific scene. The British managers tried everything to help the workers, sending out hunting parties, building giant thorn fences, as well as setting traps. None of these methods worked. The thorns were an oversight on their part, considering the lions grew up in the jungle and likely avoided them their whole lives. Finally, the beasts were brought down by a man named John Henry Patterson. Using a .303 caliber rifle, the first lion took 5 shots, and then the second took 8, one of which was a direct headshot. After all was said and done, the Maneaters of Sava had claimed 135 victims total. Number 6. The Beast of Jevedon. Most of the creatures on this list have been identified as a certain type of animal, whether they're lions or a crocodile, but this next entry is a bit more mysterious. The site of its attacks was south-central France during 1764 to 1767. Descriptions of the beast vary. People claim it was the size of a cow with a long head, flat nose and broad chest. They say its tail was much longer than a regular wolf's and that it had a small tuft of fur at its ends. Some say it was just a vicious dog, while others claim it was a striped hyena or some sort of wolf-dog combo. Whatever it was ferocious, striking fear into the hearts of French countrymen. Public panic at the time of the attacks led some to believe there were supernatural forces at play. It's estimated that there were over 610 attacks from the beast, 500 of them ending in death, with 98 victims partially eaten alive. Reports say that it was killed multiple times, being somehow brought back from death over and over until the killing stopped. It wasn't until the royal family got involved that peace was finally returned. Louis XV hired 2 professional wolf hunters named Jean-Charles Marc-Antoine Vomesle de Naval, along with his son Jean-Francois, to bring an end to the beast. The pair brought 8 bloodhounds along with them, that was skilled in the art of wolf hunting. It wasn't until months later that they would succeed in killing a large wolf, its female mate, and 2 full-grown pups that the attacks finally slowed down, with the male wolf being sent to Versailles to be stuffed. The last of the attacks didn't end though until Jean Chastel, a local hunter in the area, brought down a beast on Montmouchet. To this day, the truth surrounding the Beast of Jevedon is a mystery, but the killings and terror it spread remain a chilling fact. What animal are you most afraid of? Have you ever been attacked by an animal? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more like this. Number 5. The Leopard of Pannar. During the early 20th century, a terrifying beast known only as the Leopard of Pannar killed over 400 people, naming it one of the most prolific animal serial killers in history. The leopard lived in the northern part of India, and similar to the Maneaters of Sava, first got its taste of humans from the dead. A cholera outbreak had hit the area, leading to plenty of corpses for it to choose from. But once the sickness had literally died out, the food source was gone and the leopard proceeded to hunt himself. Years passed as villagers tried to trap and kill the cat with no success. The beast was highly intelligent, able to recognize any trap set out with ease. No one knew when he was about to strike until it was too late. He sometimes even snuck right inside people's homes, dragging them away right in front of their terrified family. Finally, Jim Corbett enters the scene. Jim was a famous big cat hunter with years of experience. He first tracked the leopard to a man's house only to find the man's wife torn to shreds by the leopard. The beast had sunk its teeth around her throat and dug its claws into the woman's breasts. Somehow the woman was still alive by the time Corbett got there. He's quoted as saying in a journal entry, "I very sincerely hope that no one who reads this story will ever be condemned to seeing and hearing the sufferings of a human being or of an animal that has had this misfortune of being caught by the throat either by a leopard or a tiger, and not having the means, other than a bullet, of alleviating or of ending the suffering." Finally, Corbett succeeded in killing the leopard in 1910. He used 2 goats to lure the beast out and wounded it with a shotgun. He then lined his men up with torches to give him light, telling them not to run at the sight of the monster. When the creature appeared, all of them took off, with one dropping their torch. Luckily, the dim light provided enough for Corbett to deal the final blow, shooting the leopard square in its chest. Number 4. Sunkebetsu brown bear. This next beast may not have as many victims in its claim to fame as the rest of the killers on this list, but the legend surrounding it and the gruesome nature in which it hunted earned it a spot. The Sunkebetsu brown bear killed 7 people during November and December of 1914 in Japan. After a long hibernation, the bear made its way down to populated areas and wreaked havoc. Its first appearance was the home of an Ikuda family and didn't amount to much. The bear did manage to spook the family's horse though, leading them to shoot at it to get it away from their animals. They had little success, only managing to wound it as it escaped. If only they had succeeded. The bear's next victims weren't so lucky. The Asata family was minding their own business, going about their day, when the monster entered their home in broad daylight, killing a baby and dragging a woman into the forest where it proceeded to eat her. The Asatas were horrified and quickly took up weapons to try and at least save the woman's remains. They managed to land 1 shot, giving the bear its 2nd gunshot wound, though the beast escaped again. It got to the home of the Miyokes, where men were guarding women and children after hearing of the attacks. It broke through the window and mauled 7 people, killing 5 total and leaving a partially eaten pregnant woman. The police in the area gathered a force of 60 strong, armed men, tracking the beast from a trail of blood. They killed the bear on December 14th under the shade of a Japanese oak. After investigating the bear, they found it was over 2.68 metres tall, weighing 339 kilos. They suspect the creature prematurely awoke from its hibernation due to a lack of food in the harsh winter. Number 3. Gustav, the killer croc. Thought to be born about 66 years ago, around 1955, a giant crocodile has haunted the waterways of Burundi in the Nile River. Measuring over 6 metres long, Gustav the killer crocodile dwarfs regular-sized crocs weighing almost 900 kilos. This croc has eaten almost 300 people. Most crocodiles go for large game animals like zebra or buffalo, but Gustav prefers human beings. Gruesome witness reports say he doesn't like to eat people whole. He'll take a bite out of someone, then move on to his next victim, killing just for the thrill of it, it seems. Locals of Burundi have even commonly come across trails of half-eaten bodies left behind after Gustav's meal. You may be wondering how such a terrifying beast came to an end. Well, he hasn't yet, to our knowledge at least. His last sighting was in 2009 near Lake Tanganyika. Many capture attempts have been attempted though, with a documentary even being made about scientists like Patrice Faye trying to conquer the mighty Gustav. The film was called Capturing the Killer Croc, and in it, Faye's team tried using a giant trap cage almost 9 meters long. In a last-ditch effort, they left a goat in the cage and found it had been eaten next morning, with the cage left partly submerged. The scientists were eventually forced to leave the country with no luck catching Gustav. He may still be lurking in the depths of the Nile, waiting for his next victim. Number 2. The Elephant of Aberdeer Forest. Once again, back to East Africa, this time in the 1940s, our next listing features an elephant. While most elephants are relatively docile, attacking only when feeling threatened, this one in particular was especially vicious. Over a period of months, the rogue elephant of Aberdeer Forest went on a rampage from village to village and farm to farm, killing dozens. No one from the small villages was able to take down the monster, so they resorted to calling in a professional hunter. J.A. Hunter, yes, that's his name and job title, focused on big game animals. He scoured the African savanna, killing thousands of rhino with his trusty rifle. Occasionally, villagers would ask him for help killing murderous monsters, which just so happened to be the case here. Hunter first gathered info on the beast from the locals before attempting his hunt. While talking to some, he wrote down details of one gruesome attack. They heard the man's screams as the elephant caught him. The great brute put one foot on its victim and pulled him to pieces with its trunk. Then he stamped the body into the ground and went away. After hearing that description, we doubt we'll ever look at an elephant the same way. Thankfully, the beast of the Aberdeer Forest succumbed to Hunter's skills. An autopsy was performed on the elephant after its death. A bullet was found lodged in the nerve centre of one of its tusks. Scientists believe this to be the reason for its violent outbursts. Number 1. Jersey Shore Shark. One of the most famous horror films of all time was actually based on a true story. That's right, the monstrous shark from Jaws is more fact than fiction. For 12 long days in July of 1916 along the Jersey Shore coast, a terrifying man-eating shark was on the hunt. Its first attack claimed 4 victims and led shark hysteria to spread throughout the area. It's estimated that almost $250,000 in tourist money was lost, which is close to $6 million today. After losing out on such a big source of income, the locals in the area said enough was enough. Hordes of people gathered brandishing nets, guns and even TNT. They killed whatever fish they could find. There weren't as many regulations and guidelines to follow back then, so not many people saw a problem with this. While everyone on Jersey Shore was going mad with shark fever, Michael Schleiser, a lion tamer, captured and killed a shark weighing over 145 kilos and measuring 2.2 meters long off the coast of Manhattan. After investigating the shark's belly, human remains were found, leading to the belief that the beast had finally been caught. And since no more shark attacks continued after its capture, Jersey Shore residents were once again able to party in peace. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Which of these beasts do you find most terrifying? Think you can take any of them on? Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want to see more crazy videos like this.